From the frozen wastelands of the Arctic to the bustling cities of the modern world, our planet is a tapestry woven with threads of wonder and mystery. For millennia, humans have gathered around flickering fires, sharing tales that chill the blood and ignite the imagination. Stories passed down through generations, whispering of the unexplainable and the unknown. These are not mere fables spun for entertainment. These are accounts of real events etched in the annals of history that continue to baffle and intrigue us to this day. Prepare yourself, for tonight we delve into 10 true stories that will keep you up at night. Christmas Eve, 1945. The small town of Fayetteville, West Virginia, nestled amidst the rolling Appalachian Mountains, prepared for a night of festive cheer. In a modest farmhouse on the outskirts of town, the Sodder family, George and Jenny and their 9 children, bustled about, their home filled with the warmth of a crackling fire and the anticipation of Christmas morning. But fate, it seems, had a cruel twist in store. In the dead of night, a fire erupted, engulfing the Sodder home in a raging inferno. George and Jenny, along with 4 of their children, managed to escape the flames. Their relief, however, would soon turn to unimaginable anguish. 5 of the Sodder children remained trapped within the burning house. Frantic, George Sodder attempted to re-enter the burning building, desperate to rescue his children. But every attempt was thwarted by the intensity of the blaze. Firefighters arriving at the scene were met with a wall of fire. By the time the inferno subsided, only smouldering ruins remained. The missing Sodder children, it seemed, had vanished without a trace. Weeks turned into months, and months into years. Despite extensive searches and numerous investigations, no trace of the missing children was ever found. No remains, no personal belongings, no sign that they had ever escaped the fire. The mystery of the missing Sodder children gripped the nation, leaving a chilling question hanging in the air. What happened to the children on that fateful Christmas Eve? The vast expanse of the open ocean holds countless mysteries, tales whispered by the wind and the waves. In 1947, one such mystery unfolded in the Straits of Malacca, leaving an indelible mark on maritime history. It began with a distress call, a chilling SOS picked up by numerous ships in the vicinity. The message, originating from a Dutch cargo ship, the SS Orang Medan, was as brief as it was terrifying. All officers, including captain, are dead. The message crackled through the static. Lying in chart room and on the bridge, probably whole crew dead. Then silence. A second message, even more chilling, broke through moments later. "I die," it simply read. The transmission ended abruptly, leaving a trail of unanswered questions hanging in the air. A nearby American merchant ship, the Silver Star, responded to the distress call, altering course to intercept the Orang Medan. As the Silver Star drew alongside the seemingly deserted vessel, a sense of unease settled over the rescue party. The Orang Medan was eerily silent, save for the gentle lapping of waves against its hull. Boarding the Dutch freighter, the rescue crew was met with a scene of unimaginable horror. The decks were littered with the bodies of the Orang Medan's crew, their faces contorted in expressions of sheer terror. There were no signs of injury, no indication of struggle, no apparent cause of death. But as the rescue party prepared to tow the Orang Medan to port, a plume of smoke billowed from the ship's hold. Moments later, a catastrophic explosion ripped through the vessel, sinking it beneath the waves, taking its secrets with it. The year is 1977. In Enfield, the Harpers faced an extraordinary phenomenon. Strange noises in the night. Knocks and raps from the walls. Disturbances escalated. Objects moved inexplicably. Furniture slid across the floor. Cold spots and whispers. The entity targeted young Janet. Paranormal investigators arrived. Objects levitated. Janet's voice changed. The case divided public opinion. Nestled at the confluence of the Ohio and Kanawha rivers lies Point Pleasant, West Virginia. In 1966, this quiet town found itself at the heart of one of the most enduring and unsettling mysteries in American folklore. The legend of the Mothman. It began with a series of strange sightings, whispers at first among the townsfolk. People reported seeing a large winged creature lurking in the shadows, its eyes glowing an eerie red in the darkness. Was it a bird, a bat, or something altogether more sinister? As the sightings increased, so too did the unease among the residents of Point Pleasant. The creature, dubbed Mothman by the local newspaper, became a harbinger of dread, its appearance seemingly coinciding with strange occurrences, accidents and near misses. Some dismissed the sightings as mass hysteria, the product of overactive imaginations. But others, those who had seen the creature with their own eyes, knew that something was terribly wrong. Something was amiss in Point Pleasant, something that defied rational explanation. On December 15th, 1967, the unimaginable happened. The Silver Bridge, a suspension bridge connecting Point Pleasant to Gallipolis, Ohio, collapsed during rush hour, sending cars and their occupants plunging into the icy waters below. 46 people lost their lives that day, a tragedy that shook the town to its core. In the wake of the disaster, many pointed to the Mothman sightings, claiming that the creature had been a warning, an omen of the impending catastrophe. Had the people of Point Pleasant ignored a sign, a message from the beyond? John Keel, an author and paranormal investigator, arrived in Point Pleasant shortly after the bridge collapse, drawn by the strange stories and the palpable sense of unease that hung over the town. Keel, like many others, believed that the Mothman sightings were linked to the bridge disaster, but not in the way that most people assumed. He theorized that the creature was not a harbinger of doom, but rather a manifestation of something far more complex and unsettling. A force that existed beyond our understanding, a force that could manipulate events in our world, a force that some called the supernatural. In the early 1970s, the Perron family, seeking a peaceful life in the countryside, moved into a charming farmhouse in Harrisville, Rhode Island. Little did they know that their dream home harbored a dark and terrifying secret, a history steeped in tragedy and malevolence. From the moment they crossed the threshold, the Perrons were met with a series of unsettling events. Doors creaked open and slammed shut on their own. Unexplained noises echoed through the empty rooms. A palpable chill permeated the air even on the warmest of days. Caroline Perron, the mother, seemed particularly sensitive to the unseen forces at play within the house. She reported seeing fleeting shadows, apparitions that vanished as quickly as they appeared. And as the days turned into weeks, the activity intensified, becoming more sinister, more threatening. The children too began to experience the strange and unsettling phenomena firsthand. They spoke of unseen hands tugging at their bedclothes, of whispering voices calling their names in the dead of night. The house, it seemed, was alive with unseen entities, and they were not all benevolent. As the Perrons delved deeper into the history of their new home, they uncovered a chilling truth. The house, they learned, had been the site of unspeakable horrors, a place where darkness had taken root and flourished. Previous occupants had met with untimely and often gruesome ends, their spirits, it seemed, lingering within the very walls. One entity in particular made its presence known, Bathsheba Sherman, a malevolent spirit rumoured to have been a witch who had practiced dark rituals on the property in the 1800s. Bathsheba, the Perrons soon discovered, was a force to be reckoned with. Desperately seeking answers and respite from the relentless paranormal onslaught, the Perrons turned to Ed and Lorraine Warren, renowned paranormal investigators. The Warrens, no strangers to the dark side of the supernatural, recognized the gravity of the situation. The house, they concluded, was a vortex of negative energy, a magnet for lost and angry spirits. The haunting of the Perron family became one of the most well-documented cases in the Warrens' files, a chilling testament to the fact that some houses hold secrets best left undisturbed, and that some doors, once opened, can never be truly closed. The year is 1922. We find ourselves in the isolated Bavarian countryside in the small farmstead of Hinterkaifeck. It's a place seemingly untouched by the rapid changes sweeping Europe in the aftermath of the Great War. But a chilling discovery would soon shatter the tranquility of this remote farm. The family living on the farm, the Grubers, noticed something peculiar, a set of footprints in the freshly fallen snow. These footprints led to the farmhouse door, but there were none leading back. It was as if whoever made them had simply vanished. Days later, the entire Gruber family was found brutally murdered in their home. The parents, their 2 children, and the children's grandmother had all been killed with a mattock, a farming tool typically used for digging. The killer, however, remained elusive. The Hinterkaifeck murders sent shockwaves through Germany. Who could have committed such a heinous act, and why? The footprints in the snow, the lack of a motive, and the absence of any logical suspects only deepened the mystery. The Bavarian police launched a full-scale investigation, questioning over 100 individuals. Theories abounded, ranging from robbery gone wrong to a family feud. Despite their best efforts, the authorities were unable to identify the perpetrator. The brutality of the murders and the lack of a clear motive fueled speculation of a more sinister explanation. Some whispered of a jealous neighbor with a grudge, while others entertained the possibility of a wandering vagrant with a thirst for blood. The Hinterkaifeck murders remain unsolved to this day. The farm itself stands as a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk even in the most seemingly peaceful corners of the world. The question of who walked through the snow that fateful day and what drove them to commit such a horrific act continues to haunt the annals of history. The passage of time has done little to diminish the haunting nature of the Hinterkaifeck murders. The case serves as a chilling example of the capacity for violence that can reside within the human heart, and a stark reminder that even in the quietest corners of our world, darkness can prevail. The Ural Mountains of Russia, a vast and unforgiving wilderness. In the winter of 1959, a group of 9 experienced hikers, led by Igor Dyatlov, set out on an ambitious expedition. Their destination, Mount Otorten, a peak shrouded in local legend and folklore. The group, all students or graduates of the Ural Polytechnic Institute, were well equipped and prepared for the challenges of winter trekking. They kept detailed diaries and meticulously documented their journey, capturing photographs and recording their experiences. But as they ventured deeper into the mountains, the diaries painted a picture of growing unease. The weather turned treacherous, and the group faced blizzards and sub-zero temperatures. Still, they pressed on, determined to reach their objective. On the night of February 2nd, something inexplicable occurred. The hikers, for reasons unknown, abandoned their tent in a state of panic. They fled into the freezing night, inadequately dressed and without their shoes. Weeks later, search parties discovered the hikers' abandoned campsite. Their tent was sliced open from the inside, as if someone had been desperate to escape. Footprints in the snow led away from the tent, some barefoot, some wearing only socks. The bodies of the hikers were found scattered across the mountainside, some miles from the tent. Many showed signs of hypothermia, but others had suffered severe internal injuries, including fractured skulls and broken ribs. The circumstances surrounding the hikers' deaths remain a mystery. Theories abound, ranging from avalanches to infrasound-induced panic to encounters with indigenous Mansi people or even Soviet military tests. The Dyatlov Pass incident continues to fascinate and perplex researchers and amateur sleuths alike. The combination of strange injuries, unexplained behavior, and the chilling backdrop of the Ural Mountains has cemented this case as one of the most enduring mysteries of the 20th century. Our journey takes us to a quaint English pub, steeped in history and shrouded in a chilling legend. This is the story of the Busby Stoop Chair, an unassuming piece of furniture that holds a dark and sinister reputation. The tale begins in the 18th century with Thomas Busby, a man condemned to hang for the murder of his father-in-law. His final request before facing the gallows was a simple one: to have his last meal and drink in his favourite chair at his local pub. His wish was granted, and Busby sat in his chair, enjoying his last taste of freedom. As he rose to meet his fate, he uttered a chilling curse upon the chair, condemning anyone who dared to sit in it to an untimely and gruesome death. Over the years, the chair remained in the pub, a macabre reminder of Busby's curse. Locals, wary of the legend, refused to sit in the chair, leaving it untouched and undisturbed. As time went on, stories began to circulate about those who had defied the curse and sat in the Busby stoop chair. A cleaning lady who dared to move the chair while tidying up the pub met with a fatal accident later that day. A local builder, sceptical of the curse, sat in the chair, boasting of its absurdity. That evening he was killed in a tragic accident on his way home. The stories continued, each more unsettling than the last. People who sat in the chair reported feeling a strange and oppressive energy, as if an unseen force was present in the room. The curse of the Busby stoop chair became so notorious that the pub landlord, fearing further tragedy, eventually donated the chair to the Thirsk Museum. The chair is now suspended 5 feet in the air, ensuring that no one can ever sit in it again, and the curse, hopefully, laid to rest. Los Angeles, 1947, a bustling metropolis bathed in the golden promise of post-war America. Yet beneath the surface, a darkness lurked. On January 15th, that darkness found Elizabeth Short. Her lifeless body, brutally severed, was discovered in a vacant lot. The scene that greeted the police was one of unspeakable horror. A young woman, her life brutally extinguished, discarded like a broken doll. The city was gripped by fear and fascination. Who was this woman, known only by the macabre moniker, the Black Dahlia, and who could have committed such a horrific act? The investigation began, a desperate search for answers in a city of shadows. The list of suspects grew, a tangled web of Hollywood hopefuls, underworld figures and spurned lovers. Each name, a potential lead, each interview, a dead end. The press, hungry for any scrap of information, spun tales of glamour and depravity. Despite the tireless efforts of the police, the killer seemed to vanish into thin air. Years turned into decades, the case growing colder with each passing season. The Black Dahlia, forever frozen in time, a grim reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of even the brightest city. In the annals of human behaviour, few cases are as perplexing as that of June and Jennifer Gibbons. Born in 1963, these identical twins inhabited a world almost entirely their own. Bound by an unspoken language, they communicated in a symphony of whispers, their words indecipherable to all but themselves. Their silence, far from being a sign of detachment, was a testament to the extraordinary bond they shared. They moved in perfect unison, their thoughts and actions mirroring each other with eerie precision. To the outside world, they were an enigma, their silence both intriguing and unsettling. As they grew older, their isolation deepened, their behavior becoming increasingly erratic. A series of petty crimes, fueled by a desire for recognition, led to their confinement in Broadmoor, a high-security psychiatric hospital. Years turned into decades, their silence unbroken, their world shrinking with each passing day. Then, in a tragic twist of fate, Jennifer died suddenly from acute myocarditis. June, finally freed from the symbiotic bond that had both defined and confined her, began to speak. The silence was broken, but the mystery remained. Did one twin sacrifice herself so the other could live? And so we reach the end of our journey into the shadows. We've encountered stories of inexplicable disappearances, chilling murders, and unexplained phenomena. Each tale a stark reminder of the mysteries that still linger in our world. These stories linger in the shadows of history, each one raising questions we may never answer. What secrets remain hidden in the past, waiting to creep into our darkest nightmares?